Zone 2 war is continuing to happen here with NASA versus BD, and obviously I'm going to showcase some afternoon highlights of me fighting as well as the NASA boys fighting against the BD family. So let's get into this amazing PvP video. Hello everyone, yes, smash a like, comment and subscribe for more daily videos of me, MrSneakyy, and we're here again with some PvP breakdown, and we're going to be going over 3 different fights on this afternoon. And basically the first one I'm going to showcase is basically this nice opening, right, where you're going to understand what is going on, right? BD doing their dominance, as you can imagine, with super high activity, actually pushing us out, right, as the NASA guys. They are doing some fantastic offensive work here with their activity uptime, right? They're pushing us guys all the way back to our bridge where our fortress is, and that's going to allow the BD family, as you can imagine, to build their flags and get closer and closer to our territory to eventually obviously start to destroy it. And what happens is, as you can see from the NASA side, we are pulling straight back onto our territory, because this is a very important thing that we need to talk about quickly when it comes to fighting, because when you are obviously in PvP, you want to get the best amount of trades as possible, and especially when you're going against an insane army like the BD family is right now with all of their members online. Basically, you need to be focused on 2 things: being on territory and not wasting troops silly. And that means pretty simple: play defensive, play on zone. And that is basically what we're doing here, right? We're moving back all of the NASA troops, so obviously we are on a more advantageous position. Obviously this still might not be in our favor just due to the sheer number of troops by BDO, but you can see from that way of a Mexican standoff that was about 5 to 6 minutes between fights, we are now going to pull the trigger, right? We feel comfortable enough that we have enough troops plus infantry frontline to engage onto the BD. And this is all NASA now. Listen to those voice comms again through Discord, listening to the push markers that's being told through comms, right? Using the bridge to utilize as much of its, area to allow us to get across the bridge, and more importantly, out of the close territory, right? Because if you're on that bridge, as you can imagine, I am kind of just open right now to area of effect damage. And you can see from this fight, and this was a very long fight on this bridge, that we keep poking in and out, slowly, and I mean slowly, but surely, these T5s of BD are getting dropped. This is basically one of the first actual successful major pushes off the bridge that we was able to do as a NASA alliance, trying to fight through obviously BD to get us closer to our own flag so we can continue building it, right? So you can see this has come to the end of the first footage, and don't worry, I have obviously the second fight from a BD perspective, right, where BD showcasing how effective they can be, right, in defending a zone like this bridge coming up now. And welcome to the second push from NASA to BD. And this one, big spoiler alert, wasn't as successful. And what you're going to actually witness is some really good coordination from BD, right? You can see NASA's coordination is on par too, right? Look how good this charge is. Instantly, Behemoth goes in, followed up by the infantry, followed up by everyone else, which is great to see. Instant action. You do not want any sort of delay, right? And this looks very promising. You've got a Behemoth there by NASA that's causing issues, right, to this right side of the BD murder ball. But look how clever BD are. If we just take a pause here, look at that. They've instantly made a moon shape, right? Or a banana, as some people call it, in their murder ball, meaning they've spread out more horizontally to obviously make it a lot difficult to be targeted. And by doing that as well, if you've noticed, they've gone straight away in the middle and that top left side out of range. And this is very important, because as soon as they're out of range, as you guys know, the Behemoth is just basically useless, right? And right now it's in this weird dilemma. Does it try to cause issues in the center where there's not really much action, however that's where the bulk of the troops are, or does it go to the right side, right, where that big murder ball is, as you can see, right smack bang in the middle, where it can do some damage? but it's not that many troops, right, compared to the main flank. And you can see this is a really good, I don't know if this is obviously intentional, but great decision making in my part for BD. They've made this a very difficult push to do. And you're going to be able to see here how successful they actually was. Because by doing this strategy and bananing up around that actual bridge, it is an insane amount of focus fire that we are taking on. And you're going to see, look, my marchers are already in the yellow, which is very bad when it comes to obviously starting a fight, right? You can't be in the yellow within the first couple of minutes of fighting. That's just not good, because that means you've taken bad trades, you've been targeted, obviously, quite a lot, and that's something that you don't need, especially as a T4 player, right? And look at this. This is coming to the end of it, and you can see how powerful BD are, right? And I would have loved to, at some point, been able just to hear or get someone's perspective from this push, right? Because hearing their comms, listening to how they were obviously being able to orchestrate this defense is really good. Look, they've fully defended it. They've stopped us from pushing across the bridge. And this is obviously after that first initial push, which we did pretty well, right? We did a really good push. We beat them into obviously submission, so we got them on their refresh timer. But boys, they came back, and they came back a lot bigger and a lot stronger, which is very scary when it comes into obviously terms of PvP. And look, I'm just sat there, and I'm not going to lie, as a T4 player, I'm looking at these like, look, I need to be in a good range, right? I can't be going into a silly range, otherwise I'm going to start dying. So you can see me slowly just here on the edge of this bridge poking and poking. But as soon as I start getting a little bit too close on this bridge, you're going to start seeing me getting targeted red, 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 red. And that's the one issue with bridges, right? They can be your best instrument when it comes to trying to kill a larger force by forcing them through, obviously, a choke point. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, right? It happens to you. You need to obviously fight through this choke point still if you believe you are winning the open field fight, which is very, very interesting. A brand new dynamic with our whole server, as you guys know, from having the new intercept mode activated for the infantry, allowing them to charge through these different types of choke points. But big W, guys. Big W for the BDO, guys. I've got to congratulations as always, right? Because, look, really good defense. We did not actually get through. We are back at square one. We've lost a bunch of troops, and obviously that is a big, big, big positive in the BD books. So let's go into the final type of gameplay, and this one is the longest one, but arguably the most fun and interesting push that NASA has done this afternoon. And welcome to the finale battle for this video. And guys, if you are wanting me to obviously give you the whole current update, I will be showcasing what the battlefield currently looks like afterwards, right? But this is arguably the most fun push, as well as the most, I would say, coordinated push you can see from the NASA side this afternoon, right? Obviously having lesser troops, we have way less troops compared to the BDO guys here, but we are still willing to push, which I think is commendable, right? Everyone has to give some respect to every single fighter in the NASA and the BD family that's just constantly fighting and not stopping. So what you can see is pretty simple. The NASA murder ball gathered up at the very top side, and then we got the call to move, right? To move from the top and move down to this little bottom area and start fighting. And this is where I'm trying to be a bit of a nuisance for these players, and it's a little bit hard, as you can imagine, trying to control 3 range units as well as a infantry unit. But once I got my infantry in the mix of everything, it felt fine, right? And what we're doing is pretty simple. If we press pause here on the battlefield, you're gonna have a nice little understanding of visually what's going on, right? So you got all of our NASA boys up on this top side, and in the middle is obviously BDO, right, trying to continue their defense of our flag, because if we can push them off this flag, we can obviously build it, and if we can build it, that's more territorial space and quicker refresh timers when it comes to the open field fight. But what is they're doing, right? If you look at BD, they're actually got some extra troops on that north side, right? They're currently all white, and this is because those troops were fighting north side, right? So that's kind of off screen, and what you're going to see is these guys slowly come into this now fight, and this is where it becomes very, very sketchy at first, right? Because the BDO guys clearly look like they are winning this fight, right? They are pushing us back, but that's kind of our plan when it came to this initial push, right? The whole point was pretty simple: start and engage and kite back. If you can kite back, and it's a very obviously advanced tactic, if you've never heard the terminology before, all it means is basically move back, and when you're in a safe position, you attack, and then you move back. When you're in a safe position, you attack, right? And you can see my troops here kind of doing that, always moving, attacking, moving, attacking, moving, attacking, right? To the point until I get into a safe spot before I can re-engage on the core, right? And by doing this, we've now got that infantry unit way out of position, and you can see we've almost killed it, right? We almost got it down into red zone, and we're waiting now for the go, right? Because this is where you can see, and this is a very important decision if you're a officer trying to obviously make that decision to go, right? If we look at this quick murder ball by BD, really good coordination again, but you can see those specific players not listening, and that's what is the killer here, right? You can see in this little initial front load of BD members, there's quite a lot of reds, meaning they're in battle, while all of the white guys, right, all of the marks you can see that are in white are not choosing to fight. They are moving back, and because of that, as you can see, we are now engaging onto those people, and because they're out of position, it's very easy pickings, very easy kills for anyone playing, honestly, Call of Dragons to get some free merits. And you're going to see this, honestly, bite BD in the ass, right? And I think they didn't believe we were going to continue to do what we were doing here, because most of the time from these fights, as you guys can imagine, we've been on the defensive. We've kind of pushed to our territory where we needed to be in order for us to build our flags. But this time we went for blood, and we wanted to go as far as possible, and this was easily the best tug of war fight I've been a part of, right? So here we go. NASA now clearly in control, right? We have the refresh timers, we have all of our marchers coming in, and from this top view you can see BD slowly losing member after member after member, and even myself bringing in some cavalry, boys, because why not, right? Let's show some cavalry love to Call of Dragons, because they are in a very rough spot right now. But look how insane we're going in, right? We're trying to go in and get some freebies, and you can notice one scary thing and how quick my cavalry dies. Boys, he earned nearly 10,000 merits. He earned 9.6k merits, which I found quite surprising, right, for a cavalry march, especially T4. But here we go. This is what we are talking about now. We have had, obviously, all of the BD members cleaned up, right? And this is where BD would have assumed, I would have thought, right, if there was in voice comms, okay, they've pushed us, we're going to refresh our marches, and then we're going to push back to this flag. But this is the one time where our officers said, you know what? We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going, boys. And I love this, right? We never stopped going. And this was kind of the first time, honestly, from a point of view on my, opinion, playing this in a NASA, this was our first proper aggressive move, right? So far, in all of the fights, hopefully you've seen from the earlier video and this video so far, we've been on the defensive, right? We've always been taking advantage of, hopefully, our territory buffs, because obviously if they've got more troops, we need to figure out a way to deal more damage, so obviously we can win potentially the outnumbering on the open field. And this time, this is what I say, they went a little bit more deeper than normal, right? We were going to chase on all the way to the BD flag, and this is the first ever, I would say, recorded like aggressive push we really did out of a whim, right? This was kind of a flexible call that was made, and I kind of liked it. I really enjoyed this quick flexible play of, guys, let's just push through. but you're gonna see it does bite us in the ass. I'm gonna be the honest one about it, because we do some really nice work here, and you can see the coordination of the NASA murder ball, right? Nicely spread out here, as well as even the BD guys perfectly spread out, right? But at the same time, what's happening is the BD are getting reinforcements. They're getting all of their forces refreshed, coming back, and that's what is gonna bite us in the ass, as you can imagine, right? We're doing some fantastic work cleaning up here on the top side. So if you were fighting against me on the top side, big W to you guys as well. Love to fight with you and against you, right? It's been a really fun time. But this is where, as a BD ball, it's gonna get scary, because if we start doing the time lapse, you can see on the zoomed out version, you can now bring the BD members. They are slowly coming back, troop by troop, and this is where it's very, very sketchy, right? And this is where, as you can imagine, BD was able to push us back from that major push, obviously killing them, getting all the way to this flag, and with all their reinforcements, they absolutely butchered us, right? They cleared up all of our troops, and even myself, I got to a point where I was like, guys, we ain't outrunning this, so we might as well turn around like a boy and just die with pride, right? And that's basically how it ended, right? We kind of just got absolutely massacred here, but the fights continued, and that's the kind of cool thing. The fights continued from here, and if we go into the main game, we can obviously showcase what that looks like, right? So right now, as you can see, BD was successful in able to build as close as they're able to, and more importantly, destroy 2 of our flags. And right now, as you can see, poor Don Core, right, on the main lines, on the front lines, didn't shield and was on territory. And you can see Ragnar as well, another T5 player going to get rallied. And this is one thing I will say. Look, if you're fighting Call of Dragons, you're a T5 player and you're fighting on the front lines, you should be shielded if you're not at the computer. Just be saying, right? This is well deserved, right? You could have been pinged God knows how many times and you've still been rallied. So this is a well-deserved rally. Unfortunately for you guys, obviously you're a T5 player getting absolutely zeroed here by BD on my video. But what can I say? Hopefully this will wake you up and be a little bit more active so you don't get zeroed, right? So this is, as you can see, the current situation now. If we zoom out of these 2 cities, BD are now building, as you can see, this flag, allowing them to try and touch onto our flag. And I believe what they're aiming to do is block off this whole area, and they might purposely ignore it, because to be honest, BD don't really need to push, right? They can literally build a flag over here, and they can build a flag on this top side, just 2 flags. And by planting 2 flags, they block the whole area off, right? Because we need to build and kill 1 flag, and then we need to build all the way around here and build and kill another flag. And at the same time, BD will have all these flags ready and touching. So it's been a very good fight, and I hope you guys have honestly enjoyed the coverage that I've done of today. Obviously showcasing the earlier fights that happened this morning as soon as the passes open, as well as basically all the fighting that's been occurring from this morning all the way to the afternoon. And as you can see now, we're at 1600 UTC as the recording is of Don getting zeroed. So with all of that, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Smash a like, comment, and subscribe. I know it's been a bit more of a longer video than normal on the PvP side, but what can you say? What can you say, right? So until the next video, stay safe, guys, stay sneaky, and peace out.